Hello, and welcome to the 1,000 Ways to Say the Same Thing podcast. Hello to any new listeners or my return listeners. My name is Caesar, and today on episode number 28, I talked to, my brother Abdul Al-Rashed. He's a CrossFit coach. He's a creator. He's one of my mentors. He's a dear friend. You know, he's one of the guys who's constantly showing me and teaching me and guiding me on the ways of the force and life. He taught me about the compound effect, and that was something I talked about in one of the first episodes. So be sure to check that one out. Make sure to like and subscribe to the podcast on whatever network you're listening to. We all would love to hear what you have to say. Any feedback really is welcome, so please leave any comments or reviews, and be sure to leave 5 stars. If you love the podcast, leave 5 stars. If you hate it, don't be a freeloader. You listen to it and leave 5 stars. You can reach out to me on Instagram, the show's Instagram, email, anything really. The links are in the episode description. And remember, to all of my return listeners or the new ones, welcome. And the 1,000 Ways podcast is a show dedicated to discovering the many ways to help keep you focused, help keep you driven, and help keep you consistent. So, personally, I would like to thank each and every one of you for listening as long as you have, or if you're here now, welcome. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, and enjoy the episode. It was definitely fun making this one. So, buckle up, because this is gonna be a fun time. A lot of knowledge, a lot of love. All right, let's go.
Why are you specifically fearful? Like, what's on the other side of your fear?
What's on the other side of fear?
Yeah. Like, if you're stepping up to a platform, right?
Yeah.
You have those specific moments of like, okay, I'm really, really nervous. My, dick is in my throat. Excuse my French. These things are specifically, just making me nervous. I'm not going to be able to do this. I'm not going to be able to do that. But, on the other side of fear is like, oh, hey, when I do make this lift, I will win. When I do snatch this, just as I've snatched it in practice 1.5 million times, I will win. That's on the other side of fear.
Success.
Yeah. Doing the right thing in that moment and controlling yourself and being like, no, body, you're wrong. Don't you put that thing on me and say oh no, run away, run from the platform. No, you tell your body to shut up. I'm going to stand up. I'm going to get on this platform, and I'm going to lift that freaking weight.
Don't put that thing on me.
Don't you put that on me, Ricky Bobby.
Don't put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
Put that evil on me.
Okay, well, you know what?
What?
Welcome back. That's how we're going to kick this one off. It's been a little bit. It's been a few minutes. But hey,
hi
hitters. What's going on? It's your boy Outliers again. I'm here with my buddy Abdul Al. Say it.
Rashed. Wow. Yeah.
Rashed.
You just had to go with the rash.
Abdul Al.
I literally wrote it out for you phonetically.
It was a lot of E's.
So many E's. It's what's your name? Your name is Abdul. You have 2 B's and 3 E's in your name. No, there's not even an E in my first name.
If you look at it phonetically, it's pretty easy. It's Abdul Al-Rashed. That's who's in the chair today.
Hello.
I don't know if from everybody who's been listening since the first episode, and if you haven't, it's okay. You can skip that one because we're going to talk about basically the same stuff again.
Or you could go back.
Or you can go back and listen to it. Just help me out.
After this.
But Abdul is one of my very good buddies, one of my best friends out here.
Hey.
And Abdul was actually the first guy or first person that introduced himself to me when I went to Coach B's house for the first time back in 2016 or
maybe
it was 2016, 2017.
going into 2017. You're relatively nervous. You're pretty green, but you look like you had some. You were just so excited.
Yeah, and long story short, he introduced himself to me, and then we fell in love. And
I mean, you fell in love with me. I don't admit that openly to everyone.
Not openly, but he feels it in his heart.
Don't tell your lady.
You know what? Speaking of my lady,
Ooh.
hey, shout out to B. 5 years today, and I'm recording a podcast with Abdul, and she's asleep.
I mean, she was watching the game.
No, not anymore.
I mean,
she went. Yeah, she was.
Yeah.
We had a nice lunch at 8-Bit.
Ooh, yeah.
We had some brewskis.
What? You had brewskis? I didn't have no brewskis. All I had was that freaking amazing salad.
But Abdul is a CrossFit. He's a CrossFit guy. He's been in the game.
Some game.
Not the CrossFit games, but he's been in the game since 2011 T1, right?
About 2012.
2011, 2012.
yeah.
Well, go ahead. Just, you know what? I can't even describe who you are. You should just do it.
My presence is apparently making you stutter. I get it's the love.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. No, I've been in CrossFit since 2011. I joined the fire department, and during training, one of my fire captains, or my training officers, introduced it to me with some really ridiculous stuff, and one of the fun movements was a clean, but it was at a really excruciatingly heavy weight that I did not know how to do, so my clean looked more like that bicep curl that Trevor was trying to show us.
Yeah.
Earlier today,
reverse arm bicep curl,
right. Yeah,
and try to slide yourself underneath.
Yeah, and then it was a lot of power, clean, and leaning with 200-ish pounds. And for those of you that can't tell what I look like, I'm not 200 pounds. I'm maybe, I can clean it now. I couldn't do it then.
Yeah, Abdul is probably $130.
Wow, that's rude. First off, I'm probably
he's 180.
Thanks, man.
He's how tall are you?
5'9" on a good day.
You're just big.
I wear tighter shirts and shorter shorts sometimes.
Schmediums
are definitely
schmediums. But what level CrossFit?
CrossFit level 2, coach, CrossFit weightlifting. Was under my belt. That's how I met Coach B and the Bergner family. They were nice enough to be like, hey, come up to the house and hang out. And ever since then, they have not really been able to get rid of me. But I swear it's in love.
Yeah.
It's in love, not so much in jest.
I don't think you can really look at Abdul and not fall in love with his dreamy smokiness. So
yeah, tell that to everybody else. It's okay. No. So I've been in the space for quite some time, and I love it. Weightlifting is just another part of the space that I've been able to enjoy, and meet great and amazing people like you. Right?
Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thanks.
You are great and amazing.
I try.
Yeah, every other day.
Yeah. Oh man, I forgot. I forgot to ask. See, I'm so rusty. I haven't even asked everybody.
We'll talk about it.
But I ask everybody, how they're doing. I pretend like I can hear them. I can pretend like in my ears, I can their fingers are brushing my ears. But how's everyone doing out there? Everyone's doing right. Good, I hope.
Yeah, I can feel it.
Yeah,
feel the love.
I can feel it.
It's like that Black Eyed Peas song. It's like, where is the love?
That song hasn't been on the radio since 2002.
I'm older than you, right?
How much older? You're
more. We'll talk about that some other day. Maybe in a decade or two. Oh, that'll give everybody else a hint.
Well,
just a decade.
Well, as you can tell, it's first episode back in 3 odd weeks. I've just been really busy with the last 2 weeks of training coming up to the competition and the competition I was talking about back, and that was the what was it? That was the Rep Max performance.
Yep.
Yeah, Rep Max out in on Orange County. And that one that competition went pretty well. I have to say. I definitely had a great time. It was one of the Bailey had done that meet last year, and then she said, "Hey, it's it's going on again. They want it's a nice meet, it's a nice facility." And I remember going out there and working with her out there, and yeah, it was pretty fun. I recognized a lot of the guys, and it was just fun to get back on a platform. The last platform I was on was nationals, so it's fun. It's been a ride, but something super important, super groundbreaking for me. We, as a team, as like me and Bailey and Sage and everyone around us with programming and training, like it all kind of came together, and I hit a new clean and jerk PR.
How much was that?
It's 190 kilos.
Oh my God.
Put that in front of your face.
First off, it was in front of my face.
No, it wasn't.
And then suddenly you just shoved it into my face
No,
like, a really bad Saturday night.
190 kilos. What is that? It's like
418 pounds?
Multiply
by
190, 2.205.
Wow, 0.5 specifically.
Yeah, we're accurate.
Acura?
We're accurate here.
Are we trying to be an Acura up in here? 2.2.05?
2.205, now 2.205.
I thought there was another point in there.
No,
yeah.
2.205. What is it?
418.95 pounds.
So that's like 419 pounds rounded.
Technically.
It's like 418 pounds rounded up to like...
They don't round up kilos either. On like, they're like, oh, you want to grab the 1 pood kettlebell? It's still 53.9 pounds.
Okay, so can you not take away my fractions of pounds?
I'm not taking away any of your fractions. I'm just not giving you.
419 pounds is pretty big.
It's pretty
large.
huge. Like, it's larger than, you. Wouldn't you say 2 times your body weight?
No, it's not 2 times my body weight. But not only was that PR big, weight wise, but it really meant a lot because the meet was September 8th. Yeah, September 8th. That's when it was. So what's today? Today is the 22nd.
Yep.
So that meet was what? September 8th, like 14. So 2 weeks ago, almost. Yeah, 2 solid weeks ago because it was
53 weeks ago then.
Yes.
What you were about to reference.
Yeah. So, September 8th is when I hit that clean and jerk, and then basically a full year prior, 51 weeks ago to the day, it was actually. Oh, thanks, dog.
You're welcome, bro.
51 weeks ago, I had almost snapped my wrist.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 51 weeks prior to that, so almost a full year. That was the clean and jerk that almost took me out and almost destroyed my wrist and my weightlifting career. My short-lived weightlifting career. I'm like any one-hit wonder out there.
Hey, you know what? It's longer than most, okay? And you get the opportunity to be able to lift on that darn platform. Again.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was pretty cool. It was almost a year to the day that same weight, I actually lifted that weight. And it's not something that I did alone. It definitely wasn't. It's Bailey was back there coaching me up for that meet. Kyle Ray, my buddy, he was back there loading the bar for me. He's been nothing but pushing me the last couple weeks since he's actually joined the team. And Sage herself with her programming and for anyone who's interested, actually, it's Sage actually puts that programming up for free. So the programming that I myself do, my team does. It's actually on the Bergener Strength website. So you can go to the Bergener Strength website and you can basically do the same programming that I do if you're interested in doing that and getting
swole.
Super jacked. Yeah, just super jacked.
Definitely strong.
Definitely strong.
Like, not so much super jacked,
yeah.
But like definitely strong jacked.
Strong jacked. Yeah. Just a good strong jacking.
However, as we joke about it, there is a lot of good history through the Bergener Strength program. They've brought up CrossFit weightlifting in general, which is now just Bergener Strength as a CrossFit recommended course. how many people can you say about a decade ago would have known what the clean and jerk were?
Oh, 100%.
Right?
Yeah, and it's all taught through the same methodology, or a variant of the same methodology that, Coach Berger himself has brought up, and and him being the senior international coach that he was coaching. What was it? It was the junior world team, right? The junior world team where, he's coaching those guys. That methodology is passed on to his kids, and they're actually the ones that run it. So,
he's also recently the Hall of Famer.
Oh yeah, he got inducted to the Hall of Fame back in May, and I was there to watch that. That was pretty badass.
See, many different opportunities.
Yeah, so definitely check out the Bergner Strength Programming, the Bergner Strength website. If you just want to get strong jacked,
It's a saying now. Strong jacked.
Strong jacked.
We gonna get strong jacked in our snatch, clean, and jerk.
Snatch jerk.
Snatch jerk?
Snatch jerk.
Was that a thing?
I think so.
I thought, was Bailey doing that earlier today?
I think so.
She was doing snatch jerk?
Snatch jerk.
Got it.
Oh my gosh, this fan is so loud, but it's so necessary.
I mean, you could just put it where it really belongs, and it's down low.
It's on the garbage.
No, it's, towards your nuts.
Just point it down.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, no, that's worse.
Oh
yep,
my God.
we can hear it worse.
Okay.
It's okay. He'll just have to suffer for as long as we can talk.
Yeah, because it's hot in this room. Abdul has a nice crispy Coca-Cola, and I don't. And I have a milk.
What?
I have a chocolate
milk was a bad choice.
Terrible.
But why?
But today we're gonna talk about some things. Right?
I mean,
it makes sense.
Today specifically?
Right now.
I mean, this podcast might come out in a couple days.
It's actually coming out tomorrow. It's coming out Monday.
So not today,
Tomorrow.
but as the day that you are listening to this.
Currently.
In this time.
At your current time and state of mind.
Or zone? Time zone?
Word of the day, Abdul. What is the word of the day?
The word of the day today is gratitude.
And I actually have my my Random House Webster's Dictionary.
He's showing that specifically to me. He's not actually showing it to you, audience.
But you can hear it. Look.
Like flipping of the papers. And he actually went and highlighted.
I did.
Specifically.
Gratitude
is
a noun. And it is the definition of the word gratitude is the quality or feeling of being grateful or thankful. And as I sit here and reflect on what has happened in the last couple of weeks, I can't help but be grateful. And Abdul's helped me. We've talked a lot today, but he's helped me see the light in my darkness. And I just kind of reflecting back on it, over the last couple of weeks. I've had tremendous opportunity arise, with right after getting my level 1 cert, I got an opportunity to go help coach at a gym that I'm starting to do now. And I after that, I went to the meet and I PR'd my snatch jerk, my clean snatch, and then
you cleaned your snatch?
Clean, yeah.
Nice.
I've got to relearn a lot more things, just relearn a lot more about weightlifting and just technique wise, while I try to do new things and just get better. So you really can't do that with a closed mindset. And yeah, I've definitely tried my hardest to get past that.
Yeah.
What are you grateful for, bud?
Oh, I was going to ask you that question specifically. What specifically are you grateful for?
Like, in what aspect? Anything?
At this point, if I was to say, this is your dying breath, you know what? Let's make it even worse. Wild West style, finger guns up. Okay?
Oh my gosh! It's like you've listened to my podcast before. Like we're cowboys, bro.
Mm-hmm. Cowboys.
Okay.
All right.
Finger guns.
Finger guns. What are you grateful for? You're gonna die, boy, if you don't answer the question right.
I'm grateful for the life that I have. Is that okay?
That's great.
He just shot me. He fucking shot me, dude.
Well, first off, I always finger gun shoot everyone. I'm like, got it? Pew pew. So most of my athletes will ask or will be in agreement with that of I shoot everyone.
It's when I sit and think about it, and when I reflect on things that could be and things that are now, I couldn't ask for a better team. I couldn't ask for a better coach. I couldn't ask for a better group of people around me. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be.
Yep.
And in this current state of time, and even though earlier we were talking about 2028,
What's in 2028, Caesar?
2028 is the 2028 Olympics, which is going to be in LA.
Oh, LA.
And we were sitting here talking about the kind of person that I need to be to be that 2028 Caesar.
Yeah.
The guy who lives and goes and competes and wins in 20. That's a big sentiment, man.
Hey, you know what?
Well, wait. So 8 years from now, Lasha will be 32. So who knows? He might not even be in the game anymore.
And at that point, it's in my own CrossFit terms, it's like, what do you do to win the CrossFit Games? You wait till Rich Froning retires and then you win.
Matt Fraser now.
That's how Matt Fraser won. That's what everyone jokes about.
Shit.
I mean, technically, he earned it, and he worked very, very hard.
He worked very hard.
Very, very hard.
Matt, no disrespect. I'm not. I love you. I have something I heard you say tattooed on my body that...
You mean he says it all the time, and you have it tattooed conveniently on your body where you can see it every single day.
Yeah.
He just has it on his wall, probably.
He probably does.
Yeah, very likely.
Yeah, but yeah, at this current moment in time, it's like everything that I need to be that 2028 version of myself. It's possible. It's here and it's now. I just have to be mindful and be the person that I say that I'm going to be.
Yeah.
But
practice makes permanent.
Al-Rashed.
Actually, when I went through my fire academy, they came up with nicknames, and one of my old training captains, he could not. We had our last names, pointed out on the back of our shirts, and it had my name. And for those of you, you can stalk me. Apparently, Al-Rashed is how my last name is spelled. And great man, Stephen Brown. Love the man to death.
Gotta love him.
And he's like, Al-Rashed, Al, get over here, Al. And forever, I was known as Al. Al, like Al Bundy. Have you ever seen that show with Al Bundy?
Who's Al Bundy?
Oh my God, you don't know who Al Bundy is.
22, bro.
That's very true. That's why I said
How old are you?
A decade older than you. Do you know what a decade is?
7 years.
That's hurtful. Okay, that's 10 years. Anyway, Al Bundy from Home Improvement. He's on this other show now called Modern Family. He's the older guy that is married to Sofia
Vergara.
Okay, so that who would be him.
Okay. Gotta love him.
It happens.
So, Al.
Thanks, man.
Abdul. What's your gratitude? What are you gratitude for?
You could say grateful.
What are you grateful for?
I think if you actually look down there, it says like what other ways you can say gratitude.
It's gratuitous, gratuity. Mm-hmm. Those are the other two. Wow. So what are you gracious for?
What am I gratuitous for? Sorry, I keep going around the subject. I am grateful for... This is, let me phrase this correctly. I'm grateful for all the things that I have the opportunity to be able to take advantage of. I say that as in simple things. Grateful for the opportunity to, sounds terrible, but breathe, walk, move. Most of those, and some people don't even get that opportunity to be grateful for those little things, because then it leads into the other stuff. A small, simple thing put you out of, weightlifting, right? A simple wrist injury. And that was like the linchpin that stopped you from being able to snatch and clean and jerk, because you needed to put that weight overhead. And these are little things of value that most people forget about. And for me, it's being grateful for what I have, and because what I have is plenty. So as simple and complex as that can sound, that's what I'm grateful for.
You're so emotional. You're so goth.
First off, if I was goth, I'd
so
be like,
goth for that, bro.
well, I'm so like, I can't even be grateful right now. What I'm really like,
it's darkness.
I need to be in the dark with my like finger painted nails and stuff. And you see my bangs and my eyes. Okay.
Well, I'm grateful that you're grateful. I'm grateful for you being here.
Thanks, brother, man.
Thanks for showing up.
Thanks for having me on here.
Thanks for showing me up and not quitting on me.
I've actually said this to you out loud, and now everybody else will see it. I will never give up on you unless you give up on yourself. Okay?
It's a good thing that hasn't happened yet.
Exactly. So I will always do my best to be there for you so long as you don't give up yourself.
You hear that, everybody? Mm-hmm. So if you need someone to believe in you, you can always count on Abdul Al-Rashed over here.
Thanks, brother.
Abdul Al-Rashed. You can always count on Abdul to be the one that cares about you, and myself, obviously.
Well, I say that mainly just because of, it's briefly actually what we talked about before. If you don't care specifically for yourself, then who else will?
Yeah.
Right? So the main point to it being that I will continue to help and I will continue to go there so long as you don't give up. Right?
Yeah, that makes sense. I believe you.
Never give up.
Never surrender.
So there it is. Galaxy Quest.
So as we move forward, or as we go into the past, in like the past conversations that we had earlier today, we were talking about core values.
Ooh, yes.
And we were talking about what makes us who we are. Or what drives you?
Oh, throwing that out there.
We'll talk about that a little bit later. But
it was a relatively good segue. I liked it.
That was pretty smooth.
For those of you that don't know, I guess, because I had a project page called the What Drives You Project, and this is essentially a thing that I flagshipped on. It's on pause for right now, but we'll work on it for a little bit.
Well, because Abdul's influence in that project, the What Drives You project, is kind of my way of biting on him and starting this podcast, because
hey man, emulation, sincerest form of flattery.
Right? Or what does Steve Jobs say? He's like, yeah, good artists copy, great artists steal.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was really difficult to find something I would say at least like an actual purpose to a podcast, when Abdul kind of stole the idea out of the universe, out of my hands, and coined it, because it was the thing that's always interested me is people's stories and exactly what the name is like, what drives you, what moves you, and that's what I originally wanted this podcast to be about, is going around and conversing and talking to people and figuring out what was getting them going, what was keeping them going, and
well, actually, let's touch on that. How you came up with the name of 1,000 Ways.
I think I've spoken about it before, but it was something that I saw Coach B talk about. It was on Barbell Shrugged.
Yep.
It's like a Barbell Shrugged interview that he had, and he was talking about how there are 1,000 ways to say the same thing when you're talking about cues. And I remember I haven't said that word on this podcast in a long time, because that's what it was at first. It was the cues.
Yeah.
There's 1,000 different cues to keep you driven, But then it just kind of turned into...
morphed.
It just kind of morphs. But the idea behind it was, there's 1,000 different ways to give someone the same advice. And if you think about it from the perspective of me telling you to jump as high as you can, I can tell you, when on the upswing, when you're exploding, when you're exploding through the ground on the upswing, use your arms.
Yep.
Make sure you drive full-footed through the ground to jump as high as you can. Explode at the knees, explode at the hips, all those different things at the end of the day, and with the same goal, they end with the same way. So the 1,000 Ways progressed to, it progressed from trying to find specific cues and being stuck on a more life coach type of thing to a more, there's going to be things that I talk about here that you have to find for yourself. You're not going to agree with everything I have to say, and you might or you might not. That's all these different things are going to keep you motivated, keep you going, just taking steps forward. And that's really where it came from.
Yeah. I like that. I love it.
That's a long way to say.
I mean, it's one of 1,000. See what I did there?
But if I were to put it into a sentence, it'd definitely be like the 1,000 Ways podcast is discovering the many different ways to keep you motivated, keep you driven, keep you taking steps forward, keep you,
consistent.
Keep you consistent.
I love it.
Shit.
Soapbox. Getting into a tangent. Talking about values.
But yeah, core values. Core values was something that we touched on earlier because when we were talking about 2028 Caesar,
what does he look like?
He's big. He's strong.
Is he swole jacked?
He's swole jacked and he can snatch clean a lot.
Attaboy.
That dude can squat like 1,000 pounds, bro.
That's a lot, dude. I mean, you should probably get a doctor to look at your knees or something. Shit.
But
excuse my French.
You were talking about the two that really pertain to you. You were talking about what makes you who you are. So who are you? What are your core values? What are the things that you value most in life? I guess in your Abdul way. Well,
I'm going to say this as I say it in class. Typically in my CrossFit classes, we start with question of the day, or first name introduction, followed by question of the day. And question is, what are your core values? So my name is Abdul Al-Rashed. Thank you very much. I appreciate you having me on your podcast. And my core values are honesty and integrity. Those two specifically for me, I did not know that they were my values until actually I was training to try to join the fire department. Because it sounds very convoluted, very simple. Most times people are like, you have what's called a chief's meeting, right? Or a chief's interview that they practice and demo, because you're going to need to sit in front of a couple firefighters and captains and chiefs and say, all right, what are your core values? What does honesty and integrity mean to you? And that was that moment you're just like, what does it actually mean to me? Like, honesty means don't lie. Integrity means do it right? I mean, technically.
Yeah.
However, when you actually say that, do you actually do that? Like, the drastic end is, do you lie on your taxes? Are you honest about your taxes? Do you...
I don't even do my own taxes.
Oh, dang. You got an accountant then?
No.
See, okay.
TurboTax, bro.
Oh, my God. Well, anyway, I should probably use examples for millennial audiences because I'm so old, apparently. And there are different things you can use nowadays. But honesty and integrity, I mean, honesty falls in with integrity because integrity is doing the right thing every time because it's the right thing. And a lot of times with the way that our society is turned into, what does your word truly mean? Or what's the true value of what you say, right? If I'm to say like, hey, Caesar, when is training going to be? And you tell me 8 a.m. And I'm like, okay, great. And I get there at 8:04. I mean, that's me not respecting your time, not respecting, having the integrity to even try to be there at maybe even 7:59, right? I don't have the integrity to, do like, oh, it's California time. We could, if he says 8 o'clock, it means 8:30-ish, right? Plus or minus 45 extra minutes.
You mean when Megan starts?
What? Megan does that?
When she puts her shoes on?
Who? What? God. Oh, it's okay. We don't talk poop on our friends. Sometimes. Depends. We talk poop on her sometimes. However, again, going back to the point of honesty and integrity, like you look at even the first word, honesty. Being honest with not just the people around you, but being honest with yourself. Like we talked about 2020 Caesar already a couple times.
2028.
That's what I said.
You said 2020.
What are you talking about?
That's next year, bro.
We'll play it back later.
2028 Caesar.
Excuse my French. 2028 Caesar. And what does that guy look like? Does that guy actually look like the person who's like, you know what? I have 3 whole meals a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I'm bringing my Tupperware everywhere we go. I'm eating it at the dinner table. I'm unboxing it. I'm getting 8+ hours of sleep, and I'm making sure that I get body work done every single week. Like, am I honestly going to do that? Or is this person going to be like, oh, well, I'm going to make it to 2028. All right, it's going to happen. What have you done? Have you been honest with yourself that this is going to be 2028 Caesar? You know, it's having those hard conversations and making sure that you match those values.
Yeah.
So I like to hold on to those two as my core values, to look inward and then look outward. So that's what I got.
What about integrity?
I briefly touched on that.
But I want a more in-depth.
You want more on integrity?
I want more in integrity.
More,
like you did on honesty.
You know, it's really funny to think that I thought you were going to reference like what we talked about earlier in the last 4 hours of conversation that we had.
There's been so much prep to this podcast, but
and it's not even like true prep.
No, it's just
it
talking.
was more like us just catching up.
Yeah,
it's like 2 old friends, seasoned.
2 seasoned veterans
with time
in the journey of life.
In the journey. I'm gonna turn this into a Barry Gibb skit. Do you know who Barry Gibb is?
I don't.
Oh my God. I need a better reference. I need newer references. Okay. Talking on integrity. Doing the right thing every single time because it is the right thing to do, right? For myself, even looking inward, you don't see me make my bed in the morning, right? However, I'll tell you that it's made. Is it made though? Like, did I have the time to like do that moment and like set that thing the right way? This one's going to be terrible because I did this the other day because I didn't want to get caught in it. You're sitting on the toilet. You got that last couple like sheets of toilet paper and you're just like, oh God. All right. Next person will change it.
The next person will change the roll.
Right?
Oh God.
Right? You got to do the right thing every time. It's like change the roll, wash your damn hands. You're not an evil villain. Okay? Like doing the right thing every time. As simple as it is like that. Right? You don't want to, if you want to be that person that, you know, shows up and says like, hey, I got here because I did this every single time. You didn't do it 365 days out of the year. I actually have you doing it 362. What happened to the other couple days, right? 3 days. You're not that person. Like then at that point, what does your word mean? What does that actually have? Does it have value to it? And I think that's starting to get lost a little bit. So practicing those 2 things that way.
Well, you limited me to only choosing 2. Do you have a third one? Like, do you have a third quality or a third core value that you really resonate with?
I technically have 2 other ones that I resonate with.
Oh, what are those?
Oh my God. Gratitude and enthusiasm.
Oh, gratitude.
Yep.
What is that, the word of the day?
Yep.
Oh, so gratitude and enthusiasm.
Because it's very easy to... So gratitude and enthusiasm, they work together, just as we talked about.
Yeah.
Right? Gratitude, being grateful for the things that you have. And in that moment, you should be enthused with those things. Like, I am so stoked to be able to put pants on. There's a homeless guy down the street that, you know, was walking around with a sheet around his legs. It was awkward. Because I was like, I don't have extra pants to give you. And I would really love to give you some. However, I have to go to work.
It's easy to get lost in the sauce.
I mean, you know, it happens. You know, he looked like he was on one.
I'm talking more about enthusiasm and gratitude. It's easy to get lost in the sauce of life.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah, but that's what those extra ones would
Okay.
be for me.
why'd you limit me on only to 2?
Because I wanted to practice
Jerk.
on your actual,
Jerk.
what do you call it? Problem solving skills.
Critical thinking.
There you go.
So if I were to choose, so the original 2 that I picked out were mental fortitude
Yep.
and perseverance.
Mm-hmm.
And if I were to have 4, like you cheater,
Didn't cheat, just didn't tell you.
it's mental fortitude, perseverance. I would probably say hard work, for just
Pay off.
HWPL, bro.
HWPL.
Hashtag mental fortitude, perseverance. But I feel, integrity is the other one, because it's the one thing that Matt Fraser tattooed on my arm.
I don't think he specifically
he
did it.
did. I hung out with him.
There was
him
Matt
and Sammy. Sammy actually
Fraser.
cooked food.
Sammy,
his fiance.
his
She
fiance.
cooked me food. And
Did she?
and
What
he
did she
was-
cook you?
Something that she posted on Instagram.
Yeah,
bro.
which one? I can look it up on Feeding the Frasers.
Yeah,
it's cool.
do that one.
Yeah.
Whatever, like the first one.
Yeah, that's not a thing. The
So-
first one is like a picture of her.
So I hit Matt Fraser up.
She cooked
on,
herself?
I hit Matt Fraser up on Instagram. I was like, "Yo, can you tattoo this for me?" And he was like, "Yeah, for sure." And he tattooed on my arm.
That's why his value isn't honesty.
Today I will do what others won't, so tomorrow I can do what others can't.
That's a great one.
What would you say that is? What core value would you say that resonates with most? So I had mental fortitude, perseverance, like honest hard work. What's another word for honest hard work?
Value?
Is it?
I mean, you're putting 2 words together, so
Yeah.
honest hard work would be like compounding 2 things.
So what's hard work?
Um,
Or just working hard?
yeah.
What's working hard? What's another one for work? What's a thesaurus?
Thesaurus?
What's a synonym for?
Hey, you've got the
for-
Webster's dictionary in front of
I
you.
do,
not
but
me.
it's just a dictionary.
Hey Siri, tell me things.
Uh,
Okay, so going back to the question, what would be
mental
another way?
fortitude, perseverance, hard work, and what would resonate best with today? I will do what others won't, so tomorrow I can do what others can't.
To me, integrity.
I think, integrity is what I was thinking too.
Yeah. Because if you look at it, right, today you will do, right, what do you get the opportunity of today.
Yeah.
We've all agreed to time as our construct, right? We started looking up at the sky, and then the sun goes up and the sun goes down, and then it becomes a country song, okay? We talk about that kind of thing.
I'm at my dog. I'm a truck.
And you got your fences, and,
Pickup.
talk about truck.
My pickup truck.
Yeah,
I'm a beer.
We were listening to some country today at Coach's, and I was stoked. Okay, yeah. Some of the girls were like, "Oh my God, Abdul, you can sing," and then Sage was like, "Shut up." In that order. However, going back to
anyways, pressing forward.
with integrity, it's doing the right thing every time. Because if I was to tell you, and my word actually was hey man, I know your future. You're going to die when the sun goes down. What are you going to do today to get you to 2028 still? Because on this day, wow, this is a very bad analogy.
It's like, what's coming to kill me?
Yeah. If you don't do everything today to get you to 2028, when that sun goes down, you're going to die. What will you have had to do? Right. Yeah. It's doing those things in that moment to create that value for yourself, and not leaving anything behind, leaving no stone unturned. Obviously, with society nowadays, it's not exactly easy to say hey, we're totally gonna do this and this, and you have to split things into what's actually urgent, what's actually important, what's urgent important, what's not urgent, what's not important. However, that can also give you a better compass towards your goal, a better if you pertain to these specific values and hold true to them, they will guide you through consistency. They will guide you and get you to that point where you will get to where you need to be. Come, whether it be 2028, maybe even 2020,
2020 is...
It's 3 months away.
2024 is... Okay.
Tokyo.
Yeah. No, that 2024 is Paris.
France.
2020 is Tokyo.
We've been up for a while, so I'm running out of caffeine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about that Coke that's in front of you right there?
I have no idea what this thing is. Yeah.
It's a drink.
There's 0 sugar in here, and as a person who's supposed to be a value of CrossFit, you've handed me something that probably has sugar in it.
Maybe more like that aspartame.
Aspartame.
But yeah, I mean, as far as like, that's definitely one that I would say is important to me. That integrity factor. But the thing about mental fortitude and perseverance that I admire so much is that constantly through my life I've had to push through things, and I've had to push through a lot of personal stuff that some people could handle, some people couldn't, and I've gotten through it the best that I could with as little with little physical scars, but a lot of emotional and mental scars.
Okay.
But that mental fortitude is what you need. Like, you need to be, sometimes the only thing that you can really do is get through it the best you can with your thoughts.
Well, I definitely agree with that, because with the way that your values are set, it just means that that it will in one day happen. It might not be here today. It might not be here tomorrow. It might not be here in 3 days. However,
4 days?
I mean, 4 days. Honestly, okay. You and I spoke about this before. The Compound Effect. Darren Hardy's book. He's a business writer. I think it was, Money Magazine or Business Success Magazine. Excuse me. He was like an editor-in-chief for Success Magazine, publisher, I believe. And, he came up with this book and this concept that he's said, and we've talked about this before, you and I personally, the compound effect.
And that was like the first episode, one of the first episodes that I'd done, the first or second one, which is what I talked about after the conversation that we had.
Yeah. And it talked about specifically going 1 degree one way, 0 degrees another, and then 1 degree the other way, right? So if you can imagine a straight line, going across a board, and then you start drawing another straight line above this one, maybe just literally 1 degree up, and then you draw another one 1 degree down. If you even put lines to the metric of that, that's time. And that's compounded work over time. Say your 0 is, this is me being tired and, restless in my life, and I want to make a change. However, I don't know what to do. And so I'm going to see if tomorrow changes something. And then nothing happens and I don't do anything. So you're trying to plug things into an equation, but you don't want to plug anything into the equation to change the actual equation. The next line being the one that goes down is like, what? I've been feeling kind of run down and beat up. I'm gonna join a yoga club because I heard that yoga, will add some strength to me. Give me some, mobility, loosen up my joints, give me some mental fortitude, some good, well state of mind, and I'm gonna do yoga every single day.
It's positive degree, right?
Right, positive degree, going up. Excuse me, I said negative. My mistake. And then the next one is something that seems harmless, right? My friends are like, "Oh, dude, the big trend is I'm gonna get a bar in my house.
I'm gonna vape."
Oh yeah, that's a good one. All right, I'm gonna vape. It's so much better than smoking, right? There's no tobacco in it. I'm not lighting up to get carcinogens in my body or anything like that. But you're still literally putting a foreign substance that's smoke in your lungs.
It's not a natural substance that your body produces.
Yeah.
So it's harmless. You think it's harmless.
Yeah. So then when we look at those charts over time, the basic 0 degree one in 3 months, if anything, the only thing that's changed is probably his frustration. The me that's oh man, I'm so frustrated. Nothing has happened. I'm not hurting anyone or helping anyone, but you're not doing anything. You're not doing anything for yourself. And then the 1 degree up doing the yoga classes. Suddenly 3 months later, you're not a yogi or you're not the perfect person, but you're moving a little bit better. You're feeling good. You've added some value to your mornings and some meditation work. And then the third person, you don't see like in 3 months that like you're really coughing up a lung or anything like that, but you don't see any like true changes. Like you might cough up a little bit, or your breath starts turning
you just get out
certain
of
color.
You just get out of breath a little bit easier. Yeah.
And then you add another 3 months to that. You compound another 3 months. The person that's done nothing, me, of like, oh man, I really, 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 really am frustrated now. So I'm super frustrated. Nothing's happening. Have you done anything since? So the only thing that's changed is your frustration. It's way more. Come 6 months down the road into the positive mindset of like going to yoga, you've found your way into some yogic circles where they have taught you specific mantras and chakras and like movements. You've been invited to certain yoga retreats where you get to explore the world and you gain more value out of it. You're teaching and coaching people of the different ways of, your mentality or that thought process. And then the other person is suddenly like 6 months down the road, you suddenly have lung cancer. Crap. That took a drastic turn.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's to touch on, it's funny because I was talking to my buddy Kirby, the Irish iceberg. The Irish iceberg, the one who was on the show a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
Before he and Santiago both quit work, and then they left because they're gone now, and we'll have them on the show sometime later, hopefully. If I can ever get a fucking hold of them, because they don't have phone, or Santiago doesn't have a phone still.
Did you know that Ed Sheeran canceled his phone for like a year
really?
And like just responded to emails?
Dude,
I felt like that would be like super, super liberating.
I might need to do that.
Right? Anyway, don't worry, we're still podcasting.
But that line at zero, like that 0 degree change, I understand 100% what it's like to not do anything. But here's the other thing. This is kind of the way that I broke it down from, or something that I personally added on to it that made sense, is if you're doing one good thing, right? If you're doing one good thing and then, like the next day to compensate for the one good thing you did, like you went to yoga the one day, and then the next day you had a shitty meal, right? And then the next day you're like, oh, okay, then you went on a run and you're like, oh, I'm tired, I'm gonna have a cheat meal. And you're constantly going up and down and up and down. You're gonna stay on that zero plane, and that made a lot more sense when I explained it to him, because it was like we all kind of get stuck in this vicious cycle of we do enough and we think we deserve a break, or we think we deserve something, and then we kind of go back down, or it's like we are really inconsistent with doing positive things, and the negative things we're kind of stuck on doing one and then the other, which keeps you at an even plane. And the whole thing about the compound effect is like you have to consistently make positive decisions, like positive changes in your life. Like your thought process has to change. Everything kind of has to change and go towards that. And then same thing with the negative. Like gradually, if you're consistently making a poor decision or a poor choice, like that'll catch up with you. But I think a lot of people are very stuck on that. I'm doing good, I'm doing bad, I'm doing good, I'm doing bad. And I don't know, it just made a lot more sense to me when I broke it down that way, because I seem to be stuck in that mindset where it's like, or stuck in that process where like I'll train really well, but then I'll eat poorly, and then
that's also having all the pieces to the puzzle, correct?
Yeah.
So
we just did a puzzle. Well, before we did this, we did a sick Spider-Man puzzle, and just to get the creative juices flowing.
And it didn't so much make creative juices as more of like made us get so distracted. However, this actually works out well for this analogy, I guess. It's just like having all the pieces to the puzzle, right?
The Spider-Man puzzle.
Right, the Spider-Man puzzle. If you don't have all the pieces to the Spider-Man puzzle, you cannot complete it. With training, what do we do in training? We literally are beating ourselves up, putting ourselves into a state of uncomfortable
eustress.
induce stress. That is not a thing that we typically are, used to, or, we want to get there, so that suddenly our body's forced into that position of like, oh, I have to grow. Oh, I have to get better. Oh, I have to continue to get stronger. However, there's going to be a ceiling, right? You're going to hit that ceiling of like, I'm going to keep doing this like hard. I'm going to hit 6 days a week of training, and I'll have one rest day dedicated to just sleeping.
Which is what I want to do.
What? Don't worry, we'll talk about that later. It's not unwarranted. However, it goes back into the compound effect, just as we spoke of. If you are specifically going and doing those 6 days of training, however, suddenly you have 7 days of vaping. Like, I mean, six versus 7, right?
I'm not trying to pick on my vapors out there.
Okay, my bad, vapors. Excuse my French. Let me start over a little bit. You're doing your 6 days of training. However, you also do 6 days of I eat McDonald's every night for dinner.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that doesn't go hand in hand. I am doing this for, aesthetics purposes. I'm training for a bodybuilding competition, except you don't meet your caloric need or your body's need for refeeding, because your metabolism suddenly is like, oh, okay, well, it's in a state of storing, and we're burning these specific amount of calories. Let's go towards the fat cells. Okay, fats are gone. Let's go towards protein. Getting too scientific about it. However, it's taking one step too far or one step too close. You're having to make sure that with all of the puzzle pieces, you make Spider-Man. You don't make like a specific person that has, Spider-Man doesn't have his hand doing the thwip like web finger thing. Yeah. Or like, suddenly he has.
Yeah, I love you sign.
Yeah, right? What?
Yeah, I love you sign.
Yeah, I know. I know what it is. I love you too. I get it. You keep wanting to put that in there. Caesar has a crush on me. If none of you have figured that out, don't tell Bailey. However, that's the point, right? You are trying to do one good thing and needing to know everything else around it. But that's part of learning, and that's part of the process, right? If I was to say like, hey, let's go get a car. I want to buy a car. It's going to be, the greatest car ever. And then I get a car and then suddenly don't get insurance for it, because in California, your insurance is required. And then I'm like, I forget to get registration or save money for registration for the next year, or smog, or, hey, suddenly I need tires for the car. Suddenly I need to change the oil after 3,000 miles. There are all of these different things that come into the equation of a squared plus b squared equals c squared for my algebra nerds. Yeah, that happens. Sorry. But you need to have all the variables to become that person that you want to be. You can't just say like, okay, I'm going to do this and forget about everything else.
2028. You got to be the 2020, 2028 version of me. Like,
right.
You have to know every.
You have to look for those things. You might not know every single variable. You definitely don't know what the future entails. You have a snapshot of what you would love it to look like. However, you still need to make sure that you're aiming towards that specific goal.
A squared plus b squared equals c squared. Is that on a graph? That's the u facing upward, right?
No, a squared plus b squared is equals c squared.
Wait, no, that's the Pythagorean theorem. Wait, no, but you can still graph that, right?
You can still graph that, technically, yeah.
That's y equals mx plus b. Shut up.
Oh my God, he remembered things from math class, everyone.
Dude, I haven't been in a math class in years. Yeah.
But, okay, so going into math, though, like, the numbers work. And that's the point, right? You have something that is, what it shows, right? Like you have a certain thing that will get you to that target. If someone was to tell you, hey, if you want to get to 2028, you need to sleep every night 8 hours. You need to eat 3 whole meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, with the caloric value of 3,500 calories total. And your macronutrients needing to be 200 grams of protein, 400 grams of carbs, and 100 grams of fat. Excuse me for any of those people that are out there calculating that. I just threw those numbers out there. And then you have to train 5 days and rest 2 days, and they have to be within the snatch and the clean and jerk.
That's all I have to do?
Exactly.
If that's all I had to do? easy.
Well, that's the thing.
It's not.
Right? It's not easy.
It's not. Oh, it's not all, but it's not easy, and
Yeah.
it's also not everything I'm going to have to do.
And even if it was everything that you had to do, this goes back again into the compound effect and into just life in general. How likely is it for you to hit all three of those things for 365 days? Right? Would you be able to put a calendar up? The Jerry Seinfeld thing I told you about. I talked to Caesar briefly about this. He's looking at me with a blank face right now. Jerry Seinfeld, comedian.
I know that guy. I watched Seinfeld.
Have you?
Yep.
Okay. He wrote a joke down. Good, bad, whatever. He had to write a joke down every single night, and then he got the opportunity to mark an X on his calendar. He required himself to do that every single day for 365 days. The whole point of this is that you don't break the chain. You're trying to be consistent. You're trying to make sure that if you want consistency over time to grow, you need to do that over and over and over again. And if suddenly some magical genie was like, hey, I can get you to 2028. However, what I would need you to do, you specifically yourself, is that you will eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You will have that caloric need, and you will sleep and rest and recover and train on these specific days.
You know, what's funny is that you said chain, and you saw me look off in the distance. Like,
I did.
It clicked because it's funny. One of my favorite songs that I love listening to, like during weightlifting, and it's because I have.
Was it that country song I kept having them repeat, or was it the Suicide song, Suicide Boys?
No, it wasn't Suicide Boys. No, it was. If anybody's watched, is it Guardians of the Galaxy 1 or 2?
Ha ha ha!
I think it's number 1, but it's the Chain, the song by Fleetwood Mac.
Oh yes. That should have been 1.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 1. It's funny because basically like the hook, like the core, the part of the song is that you would never break the chain. It's just like I get a real emotional response when I listen to that song because of the movie and because of everything that happened in the movie.
Probably when I said it to you and then suddenly you just remembered it.
Yeah.
And you fell head over heels in love with me.
Again.
I get it.
But it's really funny. It's just funny how the universe works and how small things. But everyone go listen to that song, The Chain by Fleetwood Mac. You'll understand. If you don't have the same response to it, it's okay. But it's funny when talking about the chain because the lyric is that you would never break the chain. So it goes hand in hand. Even though that's a love song, it goes hand in hand because it's like, God, why everyone's gonna think I'm so in love with you.
I mean, we're probably going to have to get Bailey on one of these podcasts just to prove to them that, it's
that
a regular
real.
dude love.
That she's
not,
real. That's like a Sam and Frodo love, right?
I mean, that one was kind of, it was getting there.
It's like it's like a Stephen Hyde and Eric Foreman type love, right?
I could see that. Yeah. Yeah. I'm definitely Hyde.
It's like a Ricky Bobby and...
Oh, no. It's not.
It's not like a Ricky Bobby.
No, it's just because I don't want you to say that you're Ricky Bobby. I'm Ricky Bobby.
Okay, I'll be Cal. I'll be Cal Naughton Jr.
Cal! Don't you put that on me, Ricky Bobby.
But yeah, not breaking the chain, being really consistent. Yeah, you never really want to break that chain when it comes to compounding the factors of your life and doing everything that you need to be that version of yourself. Me, it's that 2028 Caesar. It's 2024, 2028 Caesar, 2028 because that's going to be here in LA, which is cool.
Yeah.
It's that, it's the what version of you? Who is that for you?
Who are you?
Yeah. Who are you? I don't have my vape. I'm not a vaping caterpillar.
Hey, we're supposed to lay off of the vape audience, okay? Some of those people have,
they need their vices.
Yeah, it happens.
It happens. Stressful, high stress jobs.
Like accounting?
Like working at the top of bridges and painting the Golden Gate Bridge.
I mean, that's got to be tough.
Like those people who go on top of the windmills.
Yeah.
Or like the wind the wind energy propeller,
like
thing.
the wind farm.
Yeah, the wind
specific
farm
places.
guys.
Yeah, and they got to change the light bulb.
They got to change that. Yeah, see, high stress jobs like that.
And you know what's really funny about that is probably not high stress for them.
Yeah.
They probably get like huge value to that, and they are not stressed. It's pretty amazing.
But what version of you? Who is that for you? I'm 2028 Caesar. That's the one I want to be. Who's Who's the Abdul?
Abdul currently is looking for that 2020 version of Abdul. Right now, Abdul is loving what he's doing. He's coaching at Troy CrossFit with some amazing people, Derek and Vianney, Yamada. I love them. Tyler Pumphrey. He's one of the other coaches that's there.
Tyler
Pumphrey. I tried to coin a day today because he always coaches on Sunday, and I was telling the members, I was like, "Hey, you guys are going to be here on Sunday for Pump Day, right?" Right? Sunday Pump Day. And Tyler's like, "I did not say that. Do not say that. I said that." He's a very stoic kind of person. However, for myself, 2020 Abdul, he's still looking. What I would like to say that I have learned so far is to just be prepared in general. So for 2020 Abdul, it would just be to be prepared for that moment, because 2021 might come next. 2022 is there. 2023, 24, suddenly I'm changing plates for Caesar and yelling at him, be like, "Oh, go honey, go." I mean, do it, man, do it. However, you know, I think it was like Sun Tzu who said it, like Art of War.
Yeah, what do you say?
Hope for peace, be prepared for war, something along those lines.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I have the book. I don't have it in here.
Yeah. So I mean, it's training constantly.
Oh, it's trained for war in times of peace. I believe something similar to that.
That's very close.
Let me see.
That should be it. Actually,
let me pull it up.
However, that's the point, right? You train specifically to get on that platform, to do that. For me, my platform currently is, I love the audience that I have currently, the audience of being able to coach this amazing community that I have, to nurture this culture for this business, because CrossFit is a thing that has become a staple in a lot of people's lives that are within my circle that I just want to continue to give people value on. So that's currently what 2019 Abdul is doing to get ready for 2020 Abdul. And hopefully that'll make 2024 changing Abdul better for 2024 Caesar.
I can't find it. Everybody go and find it on your own.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna.
We'll put.
I'm not gonna walk your. I'm not gonna hold your hand through this whole situation.
We'll put the link to all the books that we've referenced and in the bio.
What books?
We talked about the compound effect. Sun Tzu, Art of War.
Yeah.
CrossFit Level 1 guy. We didn't talk about that one. We talked about a good amount of things.
Well, let me ask you this.
Okay.
In that search for 2020 version of Abdul, what does your stress bucket look like? And to put it in perspective, I don't know. You probably don't know what the stress bucket is, or I
can imagine.
You probably do.
Yeah,
maybe. I don't know.
50-50. Let's see what happens.
You're a smart dude.
I'm seasoned. I'll call myself that.
But that stress bucket is the thing that I had learned when I went to my level 1, where as a coach you're supposed to take into, like, each athlete, each person, and it goes hand in hand with everybody. You know, each athlete, each person has a level of stress that they fill, their stress bucket in their soul with, and you fill it with the big rocks, like those big rocks and the small rocks. You fill it with work, relationships, life in general, on top of something like training. How do you what's
in my bucket?
What's in your bucket? What's filling up your bucket? What's taking too much space in your bucket that you need to kind of get out?
I don't want to say that it's taking too much space in my bucket. I'd rather say that I have I want to make sure that my bucket is filled correctly.
Yeah. Organized.
So I learned this I went on an internship at CrossFit New England. Ben Bergeron's gym, cool, awesome, amazing place. The people just there, they live the values of happy, hungry, humble. Ben is such a good dude. His wife, Heather, she's amazing. Very, very loud. Felt like a cousin to me because she's half Filipina and I'm half Filipino too. So I'm Iraqapino for those of you that can't figure out that Abdul is an Arabic name.
What?
Anyway, and as I was out there, we talked actually a lot about the rocks. What are your big rocks? What are the things that you need to take care of? What is urgent and important in your life? And coming back full circle, I would say that pertains back into the values subject that we talked about earlier, talking about my specific values of honesty, integrity, gratitude, and enthusiasm. I hold those in my bucket. The values of family first, making sure that my father is okay, calling my brother every night because he lives in New York and not in San Diego with me anymore, checking in on my mother in Abu Dhabi, making sure that is good and okay. Little simple things like that to add to my values, or to make sure that I put family first as one of my core values. Then after that, continuing around, who are the closest people to me? Is it my friends and family that are at the CrossFit gym? Derek and VNA, just making sure that they are set up for success. If we talk about integrity like we did last time, did I make sure that one of my clients, Jenny, was okay, that she, was able to complete her snatch and set up for success. And I taught the movement the same exact way as Derek and VNA would, and set them up for success of oh no, Abdul said it this way, rather than setting them up for failure, making sure I did not do that by being oh, Abdul said it this way, why are you guys telling me to do it a different way? And, being the same thing in accordance. Making sure I have them set up for success of hey, we have to take our kid Troy. Their gym is named after their child. It's really awesome. Troy is going to have a gym when he gets older. However, hey, we need to take our kid to school. Can you cover these classes? Of course. No problem. Let me take care of it. I have my schedule, or I have my class sheet set up. I know what the warm-up's going to be. I know how we're going to activate the movements. I know, what is going to go into the strength and skill portion, how I'm going to bring everyone back down and cool them down in the workout, and then send them off on their way feeling like they've had the best hour of their day. That to me is what my stress bucket is. So long as I take care of what's first things first in my bucket, and then worrying about what fills up, right? Because I need to know what my big rocks are. And as far as I can tell, I know what my big rocks are. It would just be, making sure that they stay that way and nothing else takes more of the space in that bucket that doesn't need to be there.
That was profound.
You're welcome. I learned from many good and amazing people.
Just trying. You got me. You got me thinking.
You got me thinking. You ever watch that old British skit, Old Greg?
Yeah.
Yeah. You got me thinking. Hello.
I'm Old Greg.
Make an assessment. Do you love me? You play love games with me. That would be a good rendition of what our relationship is.
Old Greg.
Old Greg.
Old Greg and the guy who,
what's his name?
I think it was Jim.
Yeah. Hello. What are you doing in my waters? Not fishing.
What can you say that you learned about yourself being out in New England?
What I learned the most was being grateful for what I had.
Oh, to gratitude again.
Yes.
Yes.
I went there with the thought of growth in general. And I gained it. I just gained it in a different sense than I had thought. Expectations, right? You set them and sometimes they don't come to fruition. My thought process was more like I had some personal things in my life that brought me back more than kept me out there. However, what really helped me realize what I had here in San Diego and California was that, I had a good amount of people surrounding me, people that I loved, people that I cared about, and like a culture that I've already created and nourished around me. Being able to go out there and be able to establish that same thing in a way, because the community is amazing. They have 350 to 400 plus members.
It's insane.
It's awesome. Like,
it's
and
great.
to be able to try to like talk to every single person there, like I made it a goal of mine to try to memorize every single person's name. Jesus. Unfortunately, I can't say with confidence that I've memorized everyone's name. However, I got very close.
Yeah.
But that's the point, right? It's not you saying like, hey, you get to come here, or, oh, you got that because you did this and this and this.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I earned my opportunity to get out here. I got the opportunity to build these amazing relationships. I also have all of these amazing things, for me. I've had them. We could talk values of like family. I was lucky enough to be able to start out with the godfather of weightlifting and like hang out at his house, meet his family, like Sage and Bo, and like have, good, like witty banter kind of relationships that you never ever expected to ever have.
I didn't.
Right?
No way.
None.
Like you asked me earlier, like what, like what Coach B is to me. Like when I first went up there, and first it's like the dude's a legend.
Yeah.
Dude's a legend.
Yep.
He's a legend. I'm there. I'm meeting him, and I'm sitting here with my fucking thumb up my ass, like I'm just some kid. And now
was that the noise when your thumb went up your ass?
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
and now it's it's like he's like another grandfather to me, like another grandfather type role model, and he's still a legend. But it's totally different now. But it's like I would have never have expected that. When it comes down to like Sage and like the role that she's played in my life, like I never would have imagined like her being my coach or anything of the sort, or how close that we are, my teammates, like that. It's crazy.
I mean, that's also
gratitude,
the grateful part, like having that gratitude towards every little thing that you've been able to have the opportunity to gain.
Yeah.
Having gratitude to see where you will be in 2020, to see where you'll be in 2024, to see where you'll be in 2028. Because right now, those little things that you find today, maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow, those are the things that lead into that. And realizing sooner what you do have will set you up for the most amount of success, come in the future, right? Like that, you in the future will thank you.
So let me ask you this. So you went out there, you were out in New England, you were working with Ben Bergeron, and
I was working with a lot of people out there. There was Morgan Bunger, Dan DeLumba,
who are like the biggest,
Tori Dyson. There's such a great crew.
The biggest hitters out there.
What do you mean biggest hitters, bro?
Biggest hitters.
They're all hitters.
They're all hitters.
Okay.
But like when we're talking about...
Do you want me to be like, oh my God, I shot a video of Katrin David's daughter. It's so cool.
That's one.
Okay. That's not the point. That's not the point.
I know it's not the point. I'm trying to ask you a question. When you think of all those hitters, all your hitters, and you can talk about anyone that you want. I want to talk about Ben though, like because you mentioned something earlier about how he has that integrity. He has that, like he will do what he's what he says.
He is who he is in the dark.
So like when you think of those hitters out there, like those guys out there, like Ben or Katrin or any other athletes that you met or any other people that you work with, like what did you learn from them the same way that you just kind of learned from Ben? Like, because Ben is who he is in the dark. You know, what did you learn from Katrin watching her train or watching her be who she is?
She does what she says. She is who she is. Like, and that's the whole point for all of it. Even, actually, I'll give you someone that's a heavy hitter that no one probably knows about. His name was, excuse me, he's not dead. His name is Brian Curley. He's a Masters champion. Like, the man is, I think
CrossFit or
CrossFit.
Okay.
This man is probably right now like 68 years old. This man is not young. And he is snatching. He is clean and jerking. He is running, sprinting almost. And I'm not an old guy. As much as I joke around about it, like 32 isn't exactly old anymore. Like, it's relatively normal.
30 is like the new 20, bro.
I'd love to say that, but I'm not that, seasoned yet. I think I need
40 is the new 30.
I think that's going to be it.
50 is the new 40.
But we're seeing like people get all the way up to like, the average male lifespan is about 75 years old. Okay? Like, when you look at it that way, it's pretty, I don't want to say daunting, but we have like 40-ish summers left.
It's intimidating.
Yes. Okay. And this man, Brian Curley, he was doing these movements that I myself, as a younger person, struggles in a way when they're prescribed. And he's doing them prescribed, and he's working his butt off. And this man is amazing because he puts in the work. He is a successful business owner. Former business owner. He is part of a association as well, like working and taking care of condominiums, like being part of a large team. And he's also a CrossFit coach at another gym, CrossFit Launchpad. Rhonda Rocket and Sean Rocket's the CrossFit Health directors. I don't want to say directors, but they're the advocates for CrossFit Health specifically, and they're one of the few doctors that are specifically doing it. And he's a coach for them as well. This man has a lot on his plate, and yet he's still getting in his work. He's still coming in early to mobilize, to do his PT work, to have conversations with people at like the water fountain in a way, and to be prepared for that class, to do the workout of the day, and is just a Billy badass. Okay? Because some little kid's like, oh, cool, I'm going to like win and I'm going to be the next Matt Fraser. You need to be aiming to be the next Brian Curley. Okay? You need to be that 90-year-old that kicks ass. Okay? You need to be snatching, clean and jerking, and being part of the geezers at Coach B's place. Because there's no room for, this, oh, I'm going to totally like do this and then I'm going to win the CrossFit Games. Like, no. You don't just shoot a couple shots and then suddenly become Matt Fraser.
HWPO, bro.
Hard work does pay off.
Okay. It's hot in here.
So take off all your clothes.
Dude, it's getting hot in here, and it's like I'm still drinking that milk, and it's not really
milk really was a bad choice for you.
So I like what you said earlier about the question of the day.
Okay. I love it.
So I'm just going to
steal it.
I'm just going to steal it.
Take it. Hashtag Troy CrossFit. First name introduction, question of the day.
Yep. I have two questions that I want to ask, and then
the two questions of the day.
The two questions of the day. I mean, if you might have another two,
I'll let you lead.
Two questions that I had is what are you grateful for?
All right.
What are you gratuitous for? What are you gratitude for?
Mm-hmm.
And what are your 4 core values? Yeah, I have to take that one.
That's good. And also,
one.
It also gives me an easy second answer.
What is it?
My core values. I've been saying them this whole podcast.
Oh, no, not your second answer. I already asked you the question. You already know.
I already know my answer.
I'm not asking you. I'm asking them.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm asking them. It's their thing
their
today.
thing now.
Yeah.
Okay.
They have to do it, and they have to
it.
sit and think about it. They already know our answers.
Yeah, they do. They've been listening to us for an hour and a half or so.
But just to reiterate,
what are you?
What's your gratitude? What are you gratitude for, Abdul? And what are your core values?
I am grateful for every little thing that I have, all the smalls, all the larges, the things that most people are not used to, or I guess the better way to say it is the things that people forget to be grateful for. It's the little things, right? I'm lucky enough to be able to walk. I am, blessed enough to have shoes. I can get up in the morning with no back pain. I can, move. I can breathe. I love being grateful for those specific things.
I just gotta love breathing.
I do love breathing. Those vapors probably won't be able to do that.
Vapors.
The vapors.
Darth vapors, bro.
And then my core values are honesty, integrity, gratitude, and enthusiasm.
All right.
Yeah. Got to be who you are in the dark. Do the right thing every time because it's the right thing to do. And if you're grateful, you'll definitely be able to have enthusiasm every single day.
That's good.
I try.
It's good. Are you going to ask me? I'm just waiting for you to ask me.
I was having a pause because you look like you're really, really sweating.
It's really hot in here.
So I can hold out just a couple seconds. What are you grateful for?
I think I'm most grateful for the opportunity to try and be my best every day with everything that I have around me.
Yeah,
because not everyone has the same thing. Not everyone has the opportunity that I have, and taking it for granted is something that I shouldn't ever do.
Yeah.
And if I was going to talk about my core values, it's that mental fortitude.
Yep.
Perseverance. That's how you wrote it. Oh no, you
no. I wrote it perseverance.
You wrote it perseverance.
Again, perseverance.
I don't think. No, there's an R missing.
Perseverance.
It's perser.
We don't need to talk about it.
So it's mental fortitude.
Continue about your stuff.
Perseverance. Working hard.
Hard work pays off.
Hard work. HWPO.
Oh gosh.
And and the last one is integrity. It's that do today what others won't, so tomorrow you can do what others can't.
Let's go.
Let's go. So everyone take a second, think about what you're grateful for, think about what your core values are, and just ruminate. Sit and stew like a crock pot.
Just like we're stewing in this nice
in
studio.
This sweaty studio. Dude, no one's ever going to want to record any podcast here because they hear how hot it is.
I don't think it's that bad.
It's not that bad. It's just...
There's definitely other places that are worse. We could be recording a podcast in Afghanistan.
We could.
Right?
Yeah.
And values.
I'm grateful for my home studio that I have.
Yep.
Even though it might be a little lukewarm.
It's more than most people have.
All right, everybody. Well, I appreciate you tuning in, and I love you guys. Abdul, Al-Rashed.
Oh, you got it right.
Where can the hitters find you?
You can find me online on Instagram, the What Drives You Project page, at What Drives You Project. If you want to check us out online, there's a couple blogs out there still, whatdrivesyou.org, as well as on our YouTube channel. Go and click like, subscribe. We've got a couple interviews with Coach B, Josh Everett, just a couple OGs in the business, as well as Derek and V&A, the owners of Troy CrossFit. So you can check them out there, or my regular Instagram, Mr_classy_abs.
That's a good one,
right? Ab was taken.
Mr. Classy Ab.
I wanted one because I had one
single ab
at that time, and Ab is also one of my nicknames.
All right, let's Let's get out of this hot room.
All right.
All right, guys. Thank you, and we'll catch you on the flippity flip.
See you later.
Bye.